Hey gang, it's JC and this is the Daily Dose for Wednesday, August 31st, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. Terrific television archives, top of the page. We have Sexually Speaking, sponsored by Dr. Kathy Naughton at the Center for Sexual Health down below. Eye Candy, which we'll get to in just a minute. And our rock and roll poll question over in the corner. Are you basically the same person you were as a kid? And we got absolutely nowhere because it's almost a 50-50 split. 52%, yes, I've changed very little. 48%, no, I've changed a lot. We got nowhere, but an interesting question. So let's try something else here today that is very thought-provoking and revealing about who we are as people. We try to do that once in a while. Do you secretly wish evil upon your enemies? That is our rock and roll poll question for today. Here's your choice of answers. A, yep, and sometimes I don't even keep it a secret. B, I guess I get some pleasure out of seeing something bad happen to one of my enemies, but I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. C, no, I'm a nicer person than that. Or D, I have no enemies. Liars. Okay, so that's it. Answer in the corner. We'll give you the results tomorrow. Bill O'Reilly, one of our favorite people, may have pulled some strings at the Nassau County Police Department to have a detective investigated for sleeping with his wife. Last summer, Fox News anchor Bill O'Reilly came to believe that his wife was romantically involved with another man, not just any man, but a police detective at the Long Island community where they live. In June, Bill O'Reilly and his wife of 15 years, and her name is Maureen McPhilmy, and somehow that just is perfect. Well, they seem to be on the outs. Last summer, she purchased a separate home under her own name and transferred her voter registration to the new address, while O'Reilly kept his registration at the current and old address. And they said that he basically called up the police department and leaned on the police and said, I wanted you to find out if this guy's sleeping with my wife. And the hits just keep on coming. Someone is trying to buy the rights to the Kim Kardashian sex tape, which has made millions of dollars for the Vivid Entertainment folks, and they will only say that it's a private person. They won't give any more details, but there's going to be a lot of coinage involved here, and it's a pretty safe bet that it is either her or somebody in her camp that is trying to buy it back. Whitney Houston is talking about an erotic moment she had at Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. Michael's old friend David Guest, this was the strange-looking guy who was married to Liza Minnelli for a while. Anyhow, he says Whitney was having dinner with Michael at his Neverland home when she accidentally dropped her knife under the table. Well, Michael was retrieving it for her, so Michael's under the table. Whitney felt her toes being sucked. Okay. She moaned, "Michael, is that you? Don't stop, that's so sensual." But then Michael's head popped up on the other side of the table, and he said, "What are you talking about?" And then when she lifted up to look under as to who or what was sucking her toes, you guessed it, Bubbles the chimp. I can't write stuff like this. In Chicago last week, a prostitution case was declared a mistrial. That's because one of the prostitutes testifying recognized the defense attorney as one of her former clients. Whoops! According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 1 out of every 10 bosses who died on the job in 2010 died of murder. Overall, 533 people in management capacities died on the job. 10% of them died from homicides. Overall, for all employees in the United States, there were 4,547 total work deaths in 2010. Transportation accidents were the most common, that's 39%. Assaults, both homicides and suicides, caused 18%. Falls, 14%, exposure to harmful substances, 9%, and fires, 4%. Texas had the most on-the-job deaths with 456. I always like hearing stories about celebrities and their real names. So we've assembled a list here of real, Queen Latifah, real name Dana Elaine Owens. Steven Tyler, Steven Tallarico. Barry Manilow, Barry Allen Pincus. Alicia Keys is actually Alicia Agello Cook. Kid Rock's real name is Robert James Ritchie. Jay-Z is Sean Corley Carter. Woody Allen's real name, Alan Stewart Coningsberg. Stevie Wonder, Stevland Hardway Judkins. This one you can understand. Real name, Florian Claude de Beauvilliers Armstrong is Dido. Jason Alexander's real name, J. Scott Greenspan. Portia de Rossi's real name, Amanda Lee Rogers. I should get Portia de Rossi. Vin Diesel's real name, Mark Sinclair Vincent. Krishna Pandit Banji is Ben Kingsley. Can understand that one. Katy Perry's real name, Kathleen Elizabeth Hudson. I love this one. Shania Twain's real name, Eileen Regina Edwards. Meg Ryan, I didn't know this one. Meg Ryan's real name, Margaret Mary Emily Ann Hyra. And Whoopi Goldberg, of course, Karen Elaine Johnson. Survivor superstar Rupert is thinking about running for the governor of Indiana. How about that? And they're talking about a Blues Brothers TV show that's in development. Bad idea. All right, so you try to get on an airplane, you're boarding an airplane, and you get into that crazy situation where everybody's trying to get on the plane, and you're standing there forever. It just seems to take forever. So this guy comes up with a better way for airlines to board passengers, and here it is. Well, the current method of calling out row numbers back to front is actually the slowest possible way that you can fill an airplane. In fact, just telling people to board when they want would be faster, but if airplanes boarded one side of the plane, window seats first, they could cut the boarding time in half. The guy who came up with this, by the way, is an astrophysicist. Thanks, they'll never do it. 10th anniversary of 9/11 coming up. The Pew Research people did a survey of American Muslims and found that they're pretty much like everybody else. They watch more sports than the general public. They play lots of video games. They watch television about an hour a night. And they say that other Americans pretty much treat them well, and that they aren't as extreme as they are portrayed. All right, U.S. women's soccer star Hope Solo, who played for your St. Louis Athletica, is going to be on Dancing with the Stars, and it's going to be a new experience for her because as a female soccer player, she's not used to watching, or she's not used to having Americans watch her on TV. A new study says divorced people pick up bad habits. You know, like smiling, thinking for themselves, having lots of money in the bank, having frequent non-robotic sex. It's awful. Birthdays today, Van Morrison. I wish that he had just shut his mouth and sung instead of ripping the Beatles. About 2 years ago, Van Morrison says, you know, people get all excited about the Beatles, but it was a very non-important musical event in musical history. Thanks. I really used to enjoy your music, and I still do, but not as much. It was on this date in 1976 that George Harrison was found guilty of subconscious plagiarism of the Chiffons hit He's So Fine, My Sweet Lord. It bugged him to the day he died, so much so that on the very last album he put out, he did a remake of My Sweet Lord and just changed the riff ever so slightly so as to not, he hated having to pay music royalties to the people who wrote that song. Cost him about $500,000 in legal fees. It was on this date in 1988 that actress Julianne Phillips filed for divorce from Bruce Springsteen, citing irreconcilable irreconcilable differences. That was on this date in 1988. On this date, 22 days left of summer. And on Friday's edition of the Showgram on the Big 550 KTRS, where we are every day from noon till 3, I say we, me and Trish Gazelle. Trish is trash. We're going to have Dave Murray, and he's going to talk about this crazy weather year and also what's coming up. Talk about hurricanes, earthquakes, all that sort of stuff, and the long-range forecast that takes you right through December. So that's going to be Friday in the 2 o'clock hour on the Big 550 KTRS. JC's Eye Candy today. Don't ever try this. Oh man, it makes the jackass people look lame, and that's not a good thing. So this kid in India sets up a video camera on train tracks, one of these high-speed rail systems, and then lays down face first on the tracks, and then videotapes as the train goes over the top of him. I had mixed emotions about even putting this on JC's Eye Candy today, lest some idiot who sees it gets an idea and tries to become the American version of this, but somebody's stupid enough to do it, they'll think of it on their own eventually anyhow. But it is, I hate to say, it's really something to see. JC's Eye Candy, check it out. It's right below what you're looking at right now. All right, so do you secretly wish evil upon your enemies? Yep, sometimes I don't even keep it a secret. I get some pleasure out of it, but I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. No, I'm a nicer person than that. Or no, I have no enemies. That's our rock and roll poll question. Please answer in the corner. And that's it. JC's Daily Dose for Wednesday, August 31st, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. And in the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.